opening of the divine Christ child, the magical little kid. So basically, give up all the adult strictures, go cosmic and become the child. And then you come up here, and because of all this, by the end of that year, we had actually embedded, look, there's 8, which is the embedding, and ignited the new brain of the new species. So it was, look, the transition from 12 to 6 coupling, and then to 8, which was the embedding of the new species. And back at the end of that year, everybody was going like, oh my God, everything's different. You know, it's never going to be the same. Maybe it was, I don't know. Oh, this one, this one. I think that one was. Should know, shouldn't I? Remember. Oh yes, that was right. I remember what it was. This was so much data on it. That's right. Oh, that's right. I remember now. I don't recognize them in the smaller pictures. The Spirit said, do a master plan to explain to the bodies how to do this. And that's right. This is the new brain here. I remember now that the reptilian brain, which is the cone that goes at the back of the neck, was going to disappear and become an empty cone for the resonance of God. So empty space. Then the membrane between the limbic system and the neocortex here was going to disappear. And then the corpus callosum and the division between left and right hemisphere was disappearing. So what you end up with is a single point, which is the pineal, pineal pituitary gateway. And then you see this rectangle, which is the presence of pure divinity. So that it would be a unified brain with the pure resonance of God centered here, and then this became the cosmic antenna. And that's the brains that we're getting in this process right now. So this was the instructions of the body of how to do this. And here's the unified brain, which is the center of the pineal, which is just pure divine flow. That was right. I remember it was so huge.
Wow.
That was right. It must have been 2008, actually. I think that was the year. 2008 calendars. This actually is 16 feet, so it doesn't look very good on here, but I did this while I was dancing in the Olympics, and it was really...
What do you mean you were dancing in the Olympics?
Oh, I did an opening ceremony of the Olympics in Atlanta.
Oh, you did?
There's my mask on the wall there, and my costume sitting in the back there.
Really?
Yeah.
Where's your costume?
It's actually on the chair, but I'm looking for a mannequin, because I'd really like to put a mannequin on it. Cause it'd be really cool, but anyway... So this was really.
So you made that mask?
No. It was made in the
Who
show.
did you dance with?
I danced in the opening ceremony of the Olympics.
With who? Just yourself?
Kenny Ortega. Oh no, we had the whole cast of it was an opening ceremony, in Atlanta, and I think there were over all the acts. I think there were like 5,000 of us, and the director was my divine Kenny Ortega, who I completely adore, and he was absolutely incredible. We all got an Emmy for it actually, which is really interesting.
Wow.
But it was an amazing time. Oh my God, I thought...
Do you have a video of it?
No, I don't actually.
Nobody does? Nobody did it? Oh, for God's sake. You get an Emmy for
happened,
something?
I know, but...
Somebody has an Emmy.
NCR, is it NCR? What is the television company? They're hopeless. Anyway.
Oh.
But what was interesting was the night before the show, the TWA flight went down, and they were convinced it was terrorists. And so when we went, we got there, and it was really weird. I remember waking up thinking, wow, what if we're going to be blown up tonight? I mean, what if it really was? They were talking about, warning that they were going to blow up the stadium. And Aidan was staying with friends in Asheville, and I thought, God, what if I don't come back? And so I put out all the credit cards, and I left a message, and I put it all out just in case I didn't return. And I left a message on their phone in Asheville, because they didn't have television, saying, do not put Aidan on the bus until I call you, because we're not sure what's going to happen. So off we went for our performance, and about 12 o'clock, Kenny called everybody into the arena and said, look, I mean, we had, there were guard dogs, there were, there was every kind of riot police, there was every kind of bomb squad. Oh my God, it was absolute chaos.
Huh.
And he said, I don't know if, you understand what's going on, but we're under high risk tonight. And he said, I want you to just take a moment's silence. I want you to all go inside. And if anybody feels they're not meant to be here, I want you to go home. He said, the show will go on if I end up with 10 people. You are not to be here unless your heart dictates you to be here. It makes me cry to think about it.
That's incredible.
And it was just this incredible silence, and it was like, oh my God. And you know, not one person left.
Sure.
But what it did was, when
it
we
bonded
danced,
you.
When we danced, oh, don't worry. We danced like there was no tomorrow. I mean, it was the most unreal experience of my life. And it was like I could feel the heartbeats of every single person, not only in the stadium, but around the world.
Yeah, of course.
And it started with this great Mickey Hart piece of music with the spirits coming out of the fire and stuff. And we came into the arena with the sort of drum carriages and everything. And there was this very sort of tribal music. And then suddenly it stops dead. And there's like a 30-second pause. And then the trumpets that were up on the gantries played the John Williams Call to Heroes, which you hear on every... And it was just made your blood run cold. It was absolutely... And the whole audience just stood up. It just roared. I mean, it was just like... It truly was. It was like touching the heart of God. It was just unbelievable.
That's beautiful.
And that's what this drawing came out of, which was The Way Home, which is the passage of man. And here are the 13 cycles of the feminine. So when you've done the male journey, and this is the urns of plenty,
and here's
and you
the
come up to
butterfly
the
of
chalice,
transformation.
exactly. And I didn't see that until after it was photographed, because on the big one you don't see the butterfly. At least it's not that conscious. And then you go through the chalice, so male and female, and that you end up with connecting to the 13 aspects of the Divine Mother. And that was the biggest one I'd ever done at that point. That's still sitting in Kauai in Kim's basement. This is the Sophia, which is the return of the Divine Mother as the warrioress and as the power of the storm and the lightning, and it's like, bruh. And I didn't like this drawing when I drew it. It was very red and very in my face. And she said, oh yeah, I'm not just the Kuan Yin anymore. You want to see who I am? And that's when I made a new connection to the earth of this fire, volcanoes, Pele, you know, all this like really strong. And that's 14 feet or something like that. It's so huge. It's actually in my bedroom. Oh, these are fun. These are the, let's see, this is the first Grail, which was the one that ended up in Kauai. That was the opening of the first Grail Gateway in March of the 5th, 2005, which is when the Divine Mother actually physically came to the earth, went into the mountains of Kauai, and embedded this. And I just love this one. It's just so amazing. And it's neat because here's the Grail actually blossoming. It's like opening and unfolding. And this was producing the divine female and the divine male. And that was the first time I ever drew the new yin-yang, which was the first embedding. Oh, it was really gorgeous. So that was the first Grail. Then 2 weeks later, this was the second Grail Gateway, which is where the Grail ends up by becoming more stable with male, female. And we all had to go through the star tetrahedron. And we ended up by taking on the crucible of the moon, again, divine feminine stuff. And here was the flower of life stuff and all that. That was the second one. This was the third one, which I loved. I love this one. I don't know, when I drew these, it was just so amazing. And now the chalice is up here. And what I loved about this when I drew it was the realization that the philosopher's egg was going to be for everyone, not just for a selected few. It was the path of transformation.
Yes.
And the magic of it, etc., etc. That's the third one. And that was the fourth and fifth gateway. And I loved this because this was all that we're Stargate people coming up through here, the new embedding of the Christ, which is the chalice, and the grapes, etc. And then what was neat about the heart was that until you add the male energy to the female, you will never actualize the heart.
No.
Never. So I'm sorry to say it, but lesbians and gays ain't going to happen to you unless you do put the two together.
Actually, the Golden Scripts, are you familiar with the Golden Scripts? It's out of print. It's transcriptions from the recorder.
Oh, interesting.
And it's the act of love between a man and a man, a person by themselves, that creates that energy that's the energy is what's being looked
Right.
for, not necessarily
The gender.
The gender.
But it was interesting because I believed that till I drew this, and Spirit said, in the end, the
Oh, in
final
the end.
completion
Yes.
of the human soul
In the end, yes.
has to be male, female.
I agree with
within
that.
itself and then without. It's like,
I agree.
Okay, but because there's a triple heart here, it's hard to see in the size, but it only gets actualized when the male energy comes in and the balance of it. So that was that one. And this was Changing the World. But that was the first time I ever drew beings. Came in there. That was that. Oh, this is the one I was actually looking for. This one I drew during Katrina. And it was the most beautiful. And what it was, this is the gift of Katrina, that this chalice with untold blessings just falling down and man being raised up through the chalice and the sun and being given the gifts. And it was this beautiful, just this, and it was like you don't understand the gifts that Katrina bears. It's like, and it was just actually after Katrina when everyone was upset and angry and, tragedy and all this kind of stuff. And I sobbed my way through that one. That had so much love and compassion in it. And I kept being pulled back into this flow of bounty and beauty and balance and harmony and what was going to come of it and everything. And it's one of my favorite pictures because this whole thing is just such an abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact it's reminding you that, we are star people.
Absolutely.
So don't get lost in that smallness of things. And then how it's inevitable, it's inexorable, it will never stop, no matter what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just loved all these little pieces of things and I've never drawn anything like that before or since. I love this compassion one. I think it's really cool. I love that one. This one was the New Trinity, which is the Divine Mother supporting the two men, God and the Son.
Nice.
I drew that a long time ago, and I thought, I wonder what the churches are going to say about that one.
Well, by the time they see it, they won't even be.
Yeah, well, exactly. So it didn't matter. Oh, these were just little sketches. This was the new Divine Feminine, the Cauldron of Power.
Nice.
And that was the new Divine Male, which was the power of the Sun in its new connection to the earth and the embedding into the Mother. Oh, this was a little sort of sketch I did, which was Bring On the Money.
Oh, Bring On the Money.
This very basic sort of practical, earthing of the money, just remembering where it comes from. That was that one. And this, I love these two. They came in one night.
Oh.
And I don't know, this was angels descending, and this thing would spin two different ways. It was really pretty. And this was blessings unfolding. And in here are the three crucibles of abundance. Just little things that's almost the actual size. They were a little bit bigger than that, but not much. And they were I just woke up in the middle of the night. I was just told to do a drawing, and these were the two that came out.
Beautiful.
And they were so kindly and sweet and
yeah, there's a lot of benevolence.
Just loving paintings.
Can we go back to the big yellow thing that you said was male, that one, going into the Divine Mother? Yeah. Okay. So that reminds me of pollen.
Looks like a
Oh,
pollen.
yes, it does.
And
it does.
you're pollinating the Divine Mother.
Yes, because that is actually like a phallus. You're absolutely right.
Well, this looks like a pollen.
Yep. It is true, because it's going below the surface. It's going into, and that could be a seed. Actually, now you actually come to point it out. And then together they co-create the earth plane. And these, in a way, I felt were like testicles too. They were sort of like a sort of, but the testicles coming out of the phi ratio. Again, it wasn't very big. It was one of those quite small ones. This I had fun with. I had this on my meditation table for ages. And this is mastery over the 4 quadrants of your universe. And depending on what I was working on, I would sort of turn it around. And
wow.
I had a piece of glass over the top, and it took me through a lot of journeying that one
Wow,
day.
it's
It was
lovely.
really interesting, that one. And these three I loved. They were another one of these funny little things that I just woke up and did. And
Oh,
this
they're
was
beautiful.
the Divine Mother is everywhere, no matter where you look. constantly. And this is open up and let it all in. And this one was the cosmic journey of blue apples. If you look here, you'll see there's a blue apple, which I didn't know about until after I'd drawn it. William Henry talks a lot about blue apples.
Well, that's the family in France.
Right. And in this particular case, it was a cosmic gateway into the realm of the blessed. So it was again, and these three.
Have you read The Expected One? Oh, you've got to get this book.
Let's just see. I'm trying to see it.